Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all well. So in this video we are going to be reviewing the recently released Netflix movie Rebecca, which is a period piece romantic thriller that is based on the novel of the same name from the 1940s and is also a remake of the Alfred Hitchcock classic. Now this movie has three very distinct parts that follow the Lily James character as she tries to come out of the shadow of her seemingly perfect husband's ex-wife. Now this film is a decent watch. I did feel like the middle section did drag on for a very long time and I was expecting the ending to have a better twist. But that being said, like I said before, it is a bit of a decent watch and I'm going to be breaking down everything to do with Rebecca for you in this video review. So from a storyline point of view, like I said before, the film is kind of split into three very distinct parts, and each of those different parts does feel like a bit of a mini movie. So let's go through them one by one. So the first part has Lily James's character being introduced to the audience as a maid to a very arrogant, upper-class snob character who really looks down at her. And then in a bit of a Cinderella-esque type event, she manages to catch the eye of billionaire rich character Maxime de Winter, and the two of these characters then fall in love in Monte Carlo, decide to get married, have a honeymoon, and then move into Maxime de Winter's country estate in Cornwall in a place called Manderley. The second segment of the movie is then based in Manderley, where the new Mrs. de Winter is really made to feel very inadequate to the previous Mrs. de Winter, who was called Rebecca, and she is constantly told by all of the different characters that Rebecca was a lot more beautiful than her, that Rebecca was a lot more charming than her, that Rebecca was a lot more classier than her, and that Rebecca was also a lot more adored than her as well. And then in the third and final segment of the movie is where a bit of a twist happens, whereby the real body of the Rebecca character is found. The body that they thought they had buried actually wasn't Rebecca's, and her real body has been found lost at sea. This is where the film shifts into a bit of a murder mystery movie, where you find out what actually happened with the Rebecca character, why it happened, how it happened, and you also get to see that the Rebecca character really wasn't as perfect as everyone thought. So from a casting characters point of view, I think the casting for Rebecca are actually for the most part pretty decent, and their performances communicate all of the messages really, really well throughout this film. So let's go through them one by one. So first up we have Lily James, who plays the character of Mrs. de Winter. I thought she was okay. I didn't think her performance was particularly impressive or particularly amazing, but that being said, I did think she played the Cinderella-esque aspect of this character really, really well, and she also had a really empowering message throughout the film, which is all around, having patience and overcoming adversity and not giving up, as there will be light at the end of the tunnel. We then have Armie, who played the rich character of Maxime de Winter, and I thought he was really, really interesting, as on the surface he's a bit of an easygoing, light-hearted, rich billionaire type character, but when you look beneath the surface, he's just somebody who just really wants a happy and easygoing and non-stressful marriage, as his marriage with Rebecca was totally the opposite. And so you can compare his character a lot to the character in Gone Girl, who is trapped in a bit of an unhappy marriage, but from the outside you wouldn't realise that. So I thought his character throughout the progression of the movie got more and more interesting as it progressed. We then have Kristin Scott Thomas, who played the character of Mrs. Danvers, and she was just a little bit obsessed with the character of Rebecca and wasn't able to let the presence of this character go, and really did make sure that all of the other characters didn't forget the character of Rebecca either. And she also played the main villain in this film, particularly against the Lily James character as well. We then have Anne Dobb, who played the character of Mrs. Van Hooper. She was a really, really interesting character in the first act of the movie, a real great contender as well against the Lily James character, and I thought she was really, really interesting, really upper class, really, really snobby, and it would have been nice to kind of see a bit more of this character. I did think that she would make a return in the second and third act, but alas, it wasn't meant to be, and we were only seeing this character in the first act of the movie. We then have Sam Riley, who played the character of Jack Favell, who was Rebecca's cousin, her ex-lover, and he was also a bit of a rival figure to the Maxime character. And then finally, we have the Rebecca character, who is the deceased ex-wife of the Maxime character. And even though you don't ever see her on screen, she has just got such a big presence throughout this movie that she may as well have been on screen, because you really do feel her presence by every single one of the characters in this film. So from a visuals point of view, this movie actually looks really, really incredible, especially the first act of this movie, which is set in Monte Carlo. The first act honestly just looks absolutely outstanding. You just really want to fly out to Monte Carlo and live the life with all of these different characters, as it just looks so luxurious and just looks so impressive. The second and third act don't look as impressive in the estate, but that being said, it does immerse you into the world of living in an estate as well, so you do really feel for all of these different characters that are kind of going through all of the chaos that they're going through. I did think for a minute that the movie would go down the horror route and that Rebecca would maybe come back as a ghost or do some crazy things, but alas, that did not happen. But anyway, from a visuals point of view, this movie actually does look really, really impressive. So overall, I thought Rebecca was a decent watch. I didn't love the movie, I didn't hate the movie. I did think the middle part of the movie was really, really boring, but the start and the end definitely made up for it, as they were a lot more engaging. I did think that there would have been a better twist at the end, but you know, for all of the reasons above, I'm going to give Rebecca a solid 5 out of 10. I'd love to hear what you think, so please let me know in the comment section below. Otherwise, I look forward to seeing you in my next video.